We're doing
Serah
Soul Circle with Dr. Erin.
Do I put your little thing in here?
Yes. And I'm going to get the music going. Hi, loves. Say hello to my dear friend and sister, Dr. Erin. I'm going to post her.
How do I put this? Do I put it in comments?
Yeah.
This is Serah, you guys. She's
Many of you probably already know Erin because you see us at the pool
How do I pin
and
it?
working.
Wouldn't wanna help myself even if I could.
And this is her favorite jam by
The jam.
yeah,
Serah Nicole's on Good Morning Love, and this song is about her asking a guy out.
You might
So this is
like
her
it.
whole thing, like,
What if
what if?
Yeah, it's called What If. She like played it for me like 2 minutes ago, and I was like, yes, that's what we're doing. So yes, just I want to say up front that we are probably going to do a few cards in the end. So that's still happening, and I brought this amazing, lovely, badass goddess to help answer questions. You're like, what up, queen? Yes, girl.
So I've been on the retrieving side over there watching Soul Circle many times, and I was like, oh no, I need to come on the jam over here.
Yes, she does. Yes, look at those hearts. Love them, love them.
Yes, Hector, how are you?
Yes, who do we have on? And we'll get started in a minute. We'll turn off the music. Jocelyn, hey girl. Oh, look, they know you.
Okay, so you guys go and follow Serah. I pinned it
Yes,
on there.
that's it.
So if you are watching this or rewatching this, Serah is an amazing conscious lifestyle master, and she comes on. She's been doing it for 2 years.
I know.
So right now she has like a bunch of people over on her stream. I have like nobody over here because I never come on live in the evening ever. It's like, what's wrong with her? She's asleep usually
Yes,
by
but
now.
you jam out on Good Morning La La Land every morning. This badass every morning. What time is it? It's at 9.
And I go live before that every day on the way to the. So not
Exactly.
like on it and stuff, but they all rewatch it.
Exactly.
They're like asleep. So.
All right, so we're gonna get started. Let me make sure that we're good. We're streaming on YouTube too. Awesome. So hi, loves.
Hi guys.
Welcome to Soul Circle. I am Serah Delane, the Conscious Lifestylist. This is my lovely guest and sister and best friend and badass queen, Dr. Erin.
Doctor of Divinity.
Doctor of
Very
Divinity.
important.
They're all like, yes, queen. They know you already. They see you in all of our stories. We're working in our laptops and coffee shops. We're hanging
That's all
out
we're
at the
doing.
pool.
We're total geeks. That's
We
the
are.
truth. We're spiritual geeks.
We call each other. We're like, we should really get out of the house
Honestly.
and work. We've already had client calls. We've done our group courses.
Well, I
we
think
need
it's
to go
because
work now.
we relate so much. We're kind of spiritual workaholics. Let's face the fact.
That's a nice way to put it.
And
I
we
like it.
love what we do. We love creating content.
Yes.
And so we get to hang out and work without feeling guilty. Because I don't know about you, but some of my friends, like, they're like, you're working again? I'm like, I'm sorry.
But we love it. We love what we do
Right?
because we love being of service and we love helping you guys and coming up with new fun content.
Totally. Love
So,
that.
and yes, we balance it.
We do.
We balanced it at the pool the other day.
We do. We do.
We brought our
do.
laptops
We do.
and we got a really great tan.
I don't look at it as work.
No, it's not. Because even the whole work thing has all this like negative connotation and energy around it and all of that stuff. It's like play.
It's creating content.
It's creating.
True.
You're like, it's
That's
just
all I do. I just create. It's not, none of it's work.
true. And if you call it like play, then I feel like people are like, oh, like you don't take it seriously. I'm like, I take it very seriously.
You just delegate to your VA everything that you feel is like, is
That's-
actual work. That's what I do.
The things you don't want to do.
That's right.
Exactly.
So who's all on here? Let's see.
Hi, loves. And of course, whatever questions you got, let's roll them in. I will shuffle a few cards because as promised, we're going to do a couple
Aw.
cards at the end.
Casey.
Go lightly healing.
Healing. Hard to
Badass
read
goddess.
these, right?
Yeah, that's why we wear black.
Sarah Ford. Oh yeah, it wouldn't work if we were wearing white. Oh,
No, I've
that's
done it a
true.
couple
Yeah, she's like, no,
times.
she's like, don't wear white. I know it's the brand thing, but wear dark because then, yeah, okay. This
We
is
love,
why.
yeah, we love white for the brand,
This is
except
why.
for Soul Circle.
Makes total sense.
Yeah. So, and how are you guys all feeling? Happy new moon.
Happy
Happy-
almost Independent Day.
Oh, that's true. That too.
Right?
I'm all geeking out about the new moon, and
When
it's
is
like
the new moon? I didn't even know that.
today.
Okay.
Pretty
good to
sure
know.
it's today.
Is it today?
Pretty sure it's today.
I
Do I-
usually
do I have that right, guys?
I always know when the full moon's coming because I can feel that a mile away. But I always
Okay,
have to check in on the new moon and set the intention. But we just said it's Q3 as of yesterday, so quarter 3 of the year, halfway through. So we set all of our intentions, our life purpose statement.
Yes.
All that
because you do it on the quarter.
We do it on the quarter. We're CEOs. We're spiritual leaders. We're not woo woo. I love the woo woo.
We love the woo woo. I love being woo.
I'm
I
a
love
little
being
bit more
serious,
science, and I love
grounded
all of it.
woo.
So I'm going to have you bring some woo woo to my life.
Okay.
And I'll bring a little science
balance
and a little bit of like the metaphysics.
I have 5 planets in Libra. I like balancing everything.
What does that mean?
It means I balance everything.
I don't know any of that.
Have you seen 3 everywhere? What? Oh, have you been seeing 3 everywhere? Did you guys see my story video where I got stuck? I sent that to you.
What?
It was around the corner from your house.
Oh,
I found the 333 portal in Los Angeles,
You
by the
did?
way. It's like you look to the left and there's an address that says 333. You look to the left and there is an address that says 333.
But wouldn't it be weird if you went back and the addresses were different?
That would be weird.
Just saying.
That would be like a Twilight Zone.
Uh-huh.
Los Angeles already is a Twilight Zone. I think that would. I have straight up, true story, no joke. I have driven through an actual portal in Los Angeles.
Susie
I know the
says
street.
that she saw them all in Orleans.
Yes.
Yes.
333 in the house. It's one of those fun things that lets you know that you're on your divine path, right? It's a little bit woo, but
yeah. Well, I'm a 22 girl.
You're a 22
everything's
girl?
22.
You
Everything's
sure you're not a 28?
I've been dating a little younger, but not 22. My son's 22, but not that quite young.
I'm just saying. Before we got on here,
oh gosh,
we were like, we need to have the camera that shows
true.
the behind the scenes.
It's a little bit different. The conversation's a little bit less spiritual when the cameras are all off and we just get to be girls and be really goofy and talk smack.
Yeah,
we're just like dudes. We talk smack. No joke. And then we get zenned out, and then come back to truth, and we come back to our integrity. But we like to talk a little smack.
Yeah,
just like I'm sure lots of people do.
It's like locker room talk for girls.
But honestly, the same thing happens with Good Morning. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
Jazz and Rob and I, before the cameras come on, it's
shout out.
Everyone's always like a little bit more real and raw with their stories, and then the cameras come on, and people try and tell their stories, and they're always PG rated versus X rated. It's totally different.
We have no filter on Soul Circle. Oh crap! Oh, and we have falling cards.
I mean, that's my card. My card. So I asked Serah if she would read my cards, and now she's going through them, and there's a card that fell on the ground. So this must be the card. So we have to decide, right? When we're doing cards, because I don't do cards. I think that they're all divinely guided, and it's really our interpretation, which comes down to the mind anyway. But
I like to say intuition.
So we're playing. So we have to, but don't we have to decide what we're trying to have intuition about, or what we're trying to?
No. So as I shuffle, like when everybody's coming in, and so I'm shuffling, and it's kind of like just creating the space and the energy of everybody while we're opening the conversation. So it's very open. Very open. No, but I agree with you, because it's like so many people are like, oh, it's the cards that are giving you the information. And I believe that you're channeling through the intuition anyways. And the cards are like a validation of whatever guidance is coming through you.
And you're going to see through the filter of whatever it is that you want to, whatever message you really want.
That's true too.
Right?
That's why I share. And then sometimes I ask everybody else.
I'm just kidding.
That would be really amazing if I did that.
You just threw them up. You're like, I'm done with cards. No.
I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to throw them.
It almost just hit me in the head. It just hit my foot, and it was kind of heavy. But she did it. So I'm really proud of you.
Okay. They're like, that's what makes you real. Yes, exactly. We need to remove... we don't need to do anything. We invite you, should you feel adventurous, to remove all masks and be that authentic version that is
not
expressed.
Filters. Anything but filters. We still use the filters.
Absolutely.
Okay. See,
this is
Marissa,
Instagram, by the way. Yes.
Olivia, love you both. I'm
love
going
you both.
through a weird phase where everything is going wrong, literally, and crashing down, and it's been this way for a few years. How do I break out of this? I feel like I have no way out. Oh, Olivia.
We love you. Can we all give some hearts? Everybody on Erin's side too, and all of you and Soul Circle. Yes, there we go. We love all the hearts. So just giving you guys love, and anybody else who's been feeling that like stuck energy and feeling like you're just in that like perpetual cycle that things just keep going wrong, right? Just giving some love and compassion for that.
Yeah.
What would you offer as far as guidance for that?
Well, Olivia, I know this one thing. I know for sure that you are a completely divinely powerful spiritual goddess already. And the way that the universal law works, I'm sure you already know this, but it gets informed by our feelings, by the vibration of our feelings around everything. So if we judge something being wrong, the instant that we judge it is the instant that we inform the subconscious and the universal law of that vibration. And then we put that in, and then it has to reflect back instantaneously. So the moment that we actually assign a positive or negative meaning, we instantaneously feel a positive or negative experience. And so we really want to be so cautious. It's the counterintuitive process of getting into a high ecstatic feeling, even when we may not want to get there. So we can talk about how you get there in an authentic way.
I like that. I like that a lot. This is one of the reasons why Erin and I are friends, because we both geek out on the subconscious programming and repatterning. So how would you get there? Like, how would you, let's give...
Sure. So Olivia, I think that the positive psychology movement is dangerous in that you could pretend to be happy and try and like get into a state of happiness, but it won't be authentic. So actually the work is to do the trauma work, that is having the outpicturing, the commands of whatever keeps outpicturing as suffering. It's that the commands that happen in the high states of trauma. So we want to first deal with the trauma so that we can neutralize and become back to neutral and freedom of choice. And then we want to basically complete the suffering cycle so that we can authentically get into a neutral and even positive state and not inform the subconscious and the subjective mind in that state over and over again.
How badass is she? Did that resonate? Was that like not some serious like mic drops for everybody?
I think it's better to talk in story than preaching though. I need to get better at that.
At story?
Well, instead of saying like all the technical stuff like that, to tell a story.
Yes.
So I'm sure that you have a story, and I'm sure I have a story, or a client story, whatever. What would be a good story for you around somebody who is coming from a place of feeling like everything's wrong to doing their work, to having it outpictured differently?
So let's see, a good story with that. I can give I'll give a personal one, because that's always healthy.
That's good.
Okay, cool. So I love you guys, and I love all of your hearts too. So I can remember when I would get so caught up in that cycle, and I would get so much in my head, right? And I would sit there and start looping in this process of making so much negative internal dialogue. This is one of the really great things that when I was in the industry, right, you're actually trained to do, right? You're trained to find the internal dialogue. So I would sit there, and granted, you're trained to do that as a character, but then being able, like, you can't always hear it for yourself. So I would remember sitting there and I'd be looping around and around and around with this just like negative self-talk, right? We have to always catch ourselves with that. Hi, everybody just joining.
Hi, guys.
So for me, it was really getting to that place of honestly, like feeling kind of sick of like being done with feeling crappy. Like, have you ever like had a cold for a really long time? Like I don't get sick that often, and I don't do cold well. Like I don't do lay low and like reprocess the body very well, because I'm just like, no, what am I not doing? Right. And I'm always wanting to go. And of course, then that's when my body's like flatline. But it's kind of like that, right? Where if you're going and going and going constantly in your mind, and then you have to almost get sick of being sick. Like when you're not feeling good for such an amount of time that then you're just like, this is like, I'm done with this. I'm over it. And when I got to that place for me personally, that's when I actually got, yes, it was inspiration. It was momentum. It was motivation to do something about it. It was negative motivation. And yet at the same time, that served me well for that period of time.
It was a decision.
It was a decision
in mind, the power decision. So yes.
You want to shift that into a positive.
Sure. So subconscious mind is actually about neutralizing mental pictures. So Olivia, for me, I remember I had a traumatic, many traumas from past lifetimes in this lifetime around abandonment when my parents got divorced.
See, she's a little bit woo.
Yeah.
She believes in past lives.
Well, epigenetic science has even proven that we have the memory of all past lives. It doesn't matter if you believe in past lives or not, you have the memory of all past lives.
So we can balance some science and some woo.
For sure. Yeah, love it. So in that, whether it be in this lifetime when my parents got divorced and my dad went off and did whatever, I made a decision in the high state of trauma that love leaves, that love equals pain. So then
you mean you collapse
the
two?
Collapse the two. The subconscious mind collapses the two. So what happens in subconscious reprogramming is we go in and neutralize the mental picture of the traumatic incident, and we spot those commands, and then we basically decide something new. But for overcoming, like as Olivia said, going through a long period of time where everything feels like it's going wrong, we need to look at the trauma and we need to neutralize the trauma through subconscious reprogramming. And then we need to basically get into a state of restoring your power. And restoring the power is from basically taking inventory and spotting all the times you handed your power out to external circumstances and doing a conscious shift of pulling back all the
It's a reframing of those past experiences. Yeah. I go I like that you use the word commands, right? So in what she's talking about is like you can recode your commands. So those things that you're saying in your mind, there's processes where you can actually go in. I call it recoding limiting commands, but you can go in and you can delete them from your subconscious mind. And then, like you're saying, go in and actually rebuild that sort of life force and that positive energy and reframe any past traumatic experiences. So then it's not affecting you energetically. And if it's not affecting you energetically, it's not affecting you emotionally.
But reframing is very different than going into an actual session. Like where you actually go into
reframing in the session.
Yeah, you can do that for sure. It's different.
What do you mean?
It is, well, reframing in session is very different. It's very logical. It's very reframing. Subconscious work is where you re-experience the actual episode.
Oh, I don't like doing that. Because I think you can reopen a wound.
You do,
sometimes.
and you reopen it, but you don't put meaning. You keep going over and over again. You actually, it's like prolonged therapy, and you go over and over again until you flatten out the charge on it. So it's very different than reframing. Reframing versus re-experiencing is a completely different process.
And I think we can re-experience from a detached. The emotional detachment, so then you can get the lesson, and then call it reframing, call it shifting, whatever.
Yeah.
But yes, multiple different ways to do it.
Babe said, "What? Oh, can you go back to the thing?" She said, "If your life isn't changing and you feel like you've done everything, I've just accepted what is and trust God. I don't think there's anything else I can do." Well, you're God.
You are.
So
You're God.
You can trust yourself for sure. Restoring trust in yourself is very imperative.
But if that's part of a belief system and a program them too, right? Yeah. Like if you're not trusting yourself, if you also don't have the belief system that you are God, not in an egoic way, right? But like you're in a direct vibrational alignment to that, call it God, collective consciousness, like Christ consciousness, whatever makes you happy to call it. But we all have that ability to connect to that. And when we can, then we feel more strong in that inner certainty to then making those decisions.
Yeah, but I agree, Boss Babe, that all of life is working for us and not against us. So there has to be the blessing. There has to be the lesson. There has to be all of that for sure. It takes a while to get there.
Yeah.
Right?
It's so much easier to like point the finger and blame everything outside of you.
I don't think so. It's way harder.
We know this now. I'm just saying, like, it's easier. There's a responsibility, right? Of when you're like, if you're pointing the finger out at everything, then like you're not taking any responsibility. So to some, that might be easier.
Yes. It's not easier
until you realize
it's easier till it's not easier.
It's more fun.
You're like, damn, I'm interested. What am I doing to myself right now?
Oh God, yeah. I know, we're really only hurting ourselves. Like that's the truth. Like that's just the like getting super real about it, right? Like we're really only hurting ourselves. Especially when you like hold on to judgments and things like that and blame.
I can't pronounce some of your names. Vinuta,
hi loves.
Jean.
Yes, they love that.
Serah, I can't read some of the other handles.
That's why we were black. I loves. Okay, what other questions? Is this did that resonate with you guys?
Where are we when we have neutralizing trauma, but sometimes times fall back, and the motion takes you back to a polarizing state. That means you've
Yeah.
not neutralized it all the way.
Yeah.
That means you've tried to reframe, but you haven't actually neutralized the traumatic incident. So you've got to go and re-experience it and completely neutralize it.
I would also add to that you can, I believe, you can almost re-traumatize yourself. It's kind of like PTSD, right? Like there's like, if you can fully neutralize it, yes. But then if you go back into, let's say, visualizing that same past experience and reattaching those emotions to it, now you've reopened that wound, and now you've set a trajectory to almost re-traumatize again, right? So we're not saying that that's what you're doing, but that's what the human mind will do, that because it wants to stay safe in those patterns. So those, I call them protection patterns, right? It's part of your identity. Some of you guys have heard me talk about it being like a false identity, because these are through belief systems that aren't yours. You've taken them on, or you've inherited them, or whatever. So it's trying to keep you in that state. So the more that you try to shift out of it, it's almost like you have to keep, it's like building a new muscle. Right? You've been going to the gym and you're working only the left side of your body, and now you're trying to work out the right side of the body. But if you don't keep going and working the right side of the body, and then let's say one day you go back and you decide to work out the left again, that muscle memory is going to come back a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm. So fascinating. Yeah. I remember realizing that all spiritual work is just identity shifting. That's all it is. It's just shifting back to the I am. That's all it is. That's all spiritual work is. The entire work is just that.
So complicated.
It's actually very simple.
Define. So what does that mean for you? You're like, it comes back to, what did you say? Identity and the I am?
The all spiritual work is only one thing. If you want to sum up spiritual work, it's shifting back to the true identity. That's all it is.
I like that.
That's all it is. We just shed off all the pretenses and all the false.
And how do we find this true identity? How do we know when we've discovered the true identity? It's like saying, like, how do you know when you found your twin flame?
An enlightenment moment where you actually go external and you become one with the universe. That's all.
Just that.
Just that little thing.
Become the God that you are, that you've always been.
And then you realize it's just a pretense, that it's all
a cosmic fucking joke.
It's
anyways.
Just, no, honestly. Have you had this moment? I'll never forget my first big enlightenment moment. It was quite some years ago. It was probably 12 plus years ago. And I was having this meditation in the afternoon. And it was this beautiful afternoon in Park City, Utah. I had a home up there. And I decided to lay on my back, looking up at the clouds streaming over I literally was not on drugs. And I had this moment that I realized, I was like, wait, are the clouds moving or is the earth moving? Because we know it turns at like 700 degrees. And all of a sudden I literally had this out of body moment where I felt like I had been told the cosmic joke of the entire universe. And I was cracking up so hard and I was crying and laughing and all. Have you ever had one of those moments?
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I was on Molly in the middle of Sedona, but I've for sure done it sober too, but it was definitely that experience. I'm like, yeah, everything's moving and I am nothing and everything all at the same time.
And do you feel like you can never go back? I mean, I feel like I'm human, but I can never like unforget that.
Everything became a reminder that we all have to laugh at ourselves and everything is a joke and not take ourselves so seriously.
It's because a sick class,
and we're
life.
super tiny.
Super tiny.
In like the whole grand scheme of things.
No, I'm everything. What are you talking about?
We are.
We're everything and nothing. We're little
You're
ants
right.
And we're this paradox thing. It's crazy.
Absolutely. Yes, your guys' hearts. Oh my gosh. That's what I love about Soul Circle. We're coming here to remind us, yes, obviously, how to get to the next level and reach those higher states of yourself, right? Your true self and enlightenment. But it's also remembering just to like not take yourself so seriously.
Health coach Serah says, how do we shed all that and get to the I am? So, I mean, authentically, how would you say that for yourself?
I can say my journey has been a process. One of the reasons why I love teaching it to others and doing it in technique form, techniques that you can use for the rest of your life, right? So if there's ever a time that I feel like stuck, or if I'm getting in that like looping negative thought form, then I have this sort of like bag of magic tricks in a way, right? So there's not really any one way on how to do that. There's many different ways on how to do that. I think the biggest one is when we're talking about getting back to the true you. What that means to me, and what I love helping so many others with, is removing all of the layers that are keeping us from the realization that we already are that true, divine, perfect version of ourselves.
Yeah.
Someone, there was a mentor a long time ago, and I would so give credit if I could remember his name. But he was that one guy. Many people have probably said this, right? Somebody told it to him, and then whatever, and it's all the whole trickle down. It's like pay it forward wisdom. So he was talking about, I'm pretty sure it was Picasso, right? And so he was sculpting, right? Some of you guys have, give some hearts if you've heard me tell this story, but I love it. It's one of my most favorite ones. So he was sculpting, right? He had this new beautiful piece of marble, right? And he was going to sculpt out one of his famous statues. And so he sat there for days just staring at it. And people would walk by and they're like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm working. And they're like, you're just sitting there. You look like a bum. Like you look like you're not. Like, this is what we're paying you for? Like, you know what I mean? So this went on for days. And then finally he began. Chisels away, right? And then it comes the unveiling day, and there's this beautiful like red velvet, like cloth over it. And he unveils it, right? And everyone is so like just in awe of this beautiful masterpiece that he has created. And someone came up to him and they said, wow, how did you create such a beautiful, perfect piece of art? And he said, I created nothing. It already was there. I just removed all of the layers so that you could now all see what was the perfection that was already underneath it all.
I love that.
So I think we're all little Picasso statues.
I think that getting to the I am is completely right. It's taking away everything that is. Our job's not to become divine, is to get out of the way. But basically, of course, meditation or the yoga, basically it's merging from the lower self to the higher self is really the process of awakening to your true self, to the I am factor. So you can do that through meditation for sure. But what I have found after doing subconscious work is I think that you can get there 20 times faster by doing your traumatic subconscious work and getting basically the programming
hypnosis
and doing deep trauma work to delayer from your commands, which are basically limiting beliefs, which is the limited identity. And then also in conjunction with doing true meditation and prayer work to know the truth. So I think that the combination for me is subconscious work and meditation. Those are the two.
Do you see meditation and prayer work as the same thing?
No. So meditation is a merging of the lower and higher self into the one. And prayer is an intentional. So just like trauma work, where you're in a high state of negative emotion and you command in a limiting belief, prayer is actually commanding in a positive, a truth. And so you are doing the same work as merging to the one, but you're commanding in the truth through prayer. So prayer is like speaking to God, and prayer is like, meditation is more like listening to God. So yeah, that's my interpretation.
How do you define God? Should I go there?
God?
Yeah.
Well, God is your higher self. It's spirit. It's the true self. That's the one consciousness and spirit that create everything. Spirituality is a reality that everything is born from spirit, which is consciousness, the backing of energy.
The backing of energy. I like that. That's pretty solid. I haven't heard anybody say it like that. That's the backing of energy.
And we're not any of this. We're not the energy either. We just direct energy. It's consciousness.
Yeah. Awesome. Are you guys not loving her? I love. All right, what else do we got?
Yogi Bear on Mars. I heard the listening to remembering. I love that. So cute. Cindy, hi, sweetie. How are you?
And some of them, so those of you guys who are just joining on my side as well, and hi, loves on Erin's side. So this is my dear friend, goddess, Dr. Erin. So you guys can go to her handle, and we hang out and we geek out on subconscious work and building
Hi, Paul.
conscious
How are you?
businesses.
You guys can follow Serah Delane, or you can hashtag Soul Circle because you probably have a lot of stuff on Soul Circle. Right?
No, actually, you know what? We haven't made a hashtag Soul Circle.
That's
There's a
crazy.
lot of people using hashtag Soul Circle. It's pretty common.
Oh,
Maybe
there you go.
hashtag Soul Circle Collective we should do,
Something.
but you can find me on hashtag The Conscious Lifestylist.
Yep.
Okay,
So-
so what else do we got? Hi, loves.
How do you not let negative words and actions from other people affect you?
Mm.
FDH 1022. How would you answer that?
I think, and it's interesting, I think we addressed this a little bit in one other video, but we'll touch on it. I'll touch on it a little bit, and I'd love to hear your side. So one, getting out of the judgment of that they're negative, right? And granted, of course, coming back to the real, where whatever they're doing or saying, it doesn't feel good, right? So no one taking the responsibility that no one can affect how you feel unless you have an agreement to it, right? That's where your personal power is. And at the same time, yeah, whatever they're doing or saying doesn't feel good. So I grew up with a grandmother who was like emotionally and like verbally abusive.
Really?
So it was like, okay, we've got to find a way to deal with this. I went inward a lot. But that being said, it's kind of like in martial arts, right? You're not trying to block anything. The minute that you put yourself in that position that you have to block against somebody or something or energy or whatever it is, now you've put yourself in a victim position. And you've stated, oh, I need protection against this thing that is coming forward towards me, whatever way. Exactly, right? So if you just don't stand in that victim position, right, then you can say, okay, this is coming. Do I want to attach to it? No, not really. Cool. Just let it go. Because whatever they're processing, it's not about you. You're their reflection in some way. They just are projecting it and expressing it in a way that they haven't been able to process within themselves. So give compassion and love for them. Do your best to not take it personally, because it's not about you anyways. And it's like we're human. And especially if you have somebody that you care about that's sitting there maybe saying not so nice things about you, like, yeah, I'm not going to lie and say like, super easy, just gonna sit there and be like, roll off, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
advice, you should just tell them to fuck off. Just kidding.
Just pretty much.
Honestly,
I'm spiritual.
The truth is that no one can ever make you feel anything. It's impossible.
Yeah.
You're the only one that can ever make you feel
That's
anything.
your power, yeah.
And it's the attachment and what meaning you put around it. So, through Truth Triangle, we birth your truth. What is there for you? What's the upset? So there's one gap of suffering. There's only one cause of suffering in life, other than true pain, right? Is the gap between accepting and wanting people, places, and things to be different than they are. So when we fully accept people exactly as they are, whether they're negative, positive, or whatever it is, we know that our only job, if we understood the law, we understood universal law, how our subconscious mind works, we know that our primary job is to not only stay in peace, but to stay in freaking bliss. And so if you're around anybody, around anybody that you're not feeling high vibe around, first of all, if you love yourself, you will either put boundaries on it or you get the fuck out.
I'm in bliss, bitch.
That's
fuck
right.
off.
That's right. Pretty much. And if you can't stay in peace around somebody, you need to either do your work or you need to get the hell out. One or the other.
I like it. That's very mic dropped. That's it. I am in my bliss, bitch. Fuck off. We need to put that on a t-shirt. You need to make some Soul Society t-shirts that say I'm in bliss, bitch. Fuck off.
That's it. That's all you need to do. Do you go quantum to heal traumas? If so, is this a form of bypassing? You don't need to go quantum. You don't need to go to quantum. You just go straight into remembering and go straight into the mental pictures.
You go to the core
and go there and remember it and remember it and remember it, and as is it until all the charge is gone. Until you're like I have clients when I do one-on-one, you go over trauma over and over again, and by the 40th time you're like, oh, this is the most boring thing ever. I don't care if I was raped. Who cares? Get over it. You're like, fine, I decided love hurts. It's that I'll never love again. I'm not good enough. Get over it. All of a sudden you're like, I don't care. Like you can just go back and go, yeah, that sucked. No big deal.
Did you ever do the way? Did you ever do this? By the way, you guys should try this too. Play So there's this song, like you remember Old MacDonald?
Yes.
Did you ever try playing, like say your story and then play the song Old MacDonald? This is an older trick. I know.
They did that.
I
Landmark
know.
a long time. She's
I
a
know.
landmark. She just totally exposed herself.
But you can find your own. You can find your own cheese. Like, what's another really cheesy song? What about the song that doesn't end? Do you remember that one?
Wait, what is Boss Babe?
This is the song that does.
Why would my blessings be on hold? I'm learning so much through this. Oh, possibly that's why. Yes. Nothing's on hold, honey. Ever. The only thing can ever hold anything is your own consciousness. Period. So you get to decide right now and do your trauma work. But this is the falsity, I think. Everyone goes, oh, I'm going to decide. Oh, I'm going to be spiritual. Oh, it's all good. No, it's not all good. You have to do your trauma work. Period. In a story. The most important thing you can ever do. Got to do it.
We need it. What were we talking about the other day where it's almost like everybody who's dating needs to have like a certified to date, like certification where you've done a certain level of trauma work. That way you're guaranteed that you won't be projecting your shit
and you still
onto other people. Well, yeah, we still but you can clean it up a lot faster.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game. It's not whether or not you're going to project. It's that do you catch your shit and then reel it back in and then clean it up.
Very true. Very true. Who else is here? Ritzy Business. All right.
Ritzy Business.
LA
Okay.
99999. Oh, Nicole. Hi, Nicole. How are you?
They called us Double Trouble.
Who else? Good man. How are you?
Is this helpful, you guys? How much do we love her? Give some hearts.
Give me hearts. I need some hearts.
They know I love the
How
hearts.
much do I love Serah? Sarah's like amazing. We've had so much fun.
We do have a lot of fun.
And it's funny because girlfriends, like you have chemistry. There's certain girlfriends you have chemistry with, and you just bond and you just like I just get happy when we're together. I love you.
I love you.
Oh, thank you for the hearts. So
yes,
sweet. Yes, we love the hearts.
It makes my inner child feel very.
I like the hearts. We need more hearts. Yay. So we want to know what you guys are doing for the 4th and how you're celebrating your independence.
Oh,
just saying. Are we gonna read these cards or not?
Yes.
I want my reading.
Oh my gosh,
I want my reading.
You want your reading? Love you both so much.
How can someone be more emotionally available?
Ooh. Want to take that?
I have no idea.
Erin is never emotional.
Okay, so if somebody is not emotionally available, generally it comes. I mean, I'm a full advocate of subconscious work. I believe everything comes down to doing your trauma work. So if someone's not available, it's generally because they have had things happen that they are basically their level of availability has gone down through the trauma and through the commands that are happening. So what happens is things will happen where you get upset, and then upsets turn into sadness, and sadness turns into depression, and depression turns into, who knows how far you go down the rabbit hole. So restoring, So restoring your emotional availability comes back to trusting yourself and comes back to trusting and loving life. So how do you do that? You do that by restoring your trauma, and you do that by also restoring the upsets and failed expectations of this life, and basically restoring where you handed your power over outside yourself. It's basically because people don't trust themselves. They're not emotionally available because they don't trust themselves.
That's really, really good. You're like power claim. So you guys, a lot of you guys on Soul Circle know, like I talk so much about the emotional side being like your foundation, right? Yes, we need the mind, right? And yes, we of course need the alignment of spirit. So it's an integration of all three of them, right? So it's kind of like chakras. If one of them's off, then that alignment's not taking place. The emotional availability, like how do you become more emotionally available? Make a commitment to whatever emotion is coming up for you. Let's say it's the sticky ones that nobody wants to deal with, right? Like, let's just be really real about that. And remembering that if you're blocking yourself from the undesired emotion, then you're also blocking yourself from the full accessibility of all the desired emotions that you want. So if the positive payoff could be, hey, you get to experience more levels of like highest bliss and joy if you're down for the adventure, and I invite you to be down for the adventure, to dive into those moments that feel really sticky and crappy and just saying, okay, I'm not going to bypass this. I'm going to dive in and I'm going to feel it. Go grab like a pint of ice cream if you want to, like, and a blanket and a pillow, and be like, what is this feeling? Like, process through it. Because you have to remember too that your body and the consciousness of your body, it doesn't like feeling upset either. It's going through its own level of like shock, right? Like it doesn't like crying and you get all dehydrated and your heart beats faster. You know what I mean? Like it's going through its own ice cream.
I've eaten a few pints in my life, let me tell you.
Haven't we all? So it's being okay with all emotions on the full spectrum. It's like if you had a rainbow, do you want to paint with all of the colors, or do you want to be like, I don't really like gray and brown because that looks like shit, and like all of these other colors, but you will have more options to mix together if you're using all of the colors. That was like a weird analogy.
I don't know. Put it this way, belief goes into thoughts, go into emotion, go into the circumstances of your life.
Nice.
So you've got to know where the emotions are backed into the belief. And the belief comes from a traumatic incident that you decided something about yourself, about people, about the way it is. And that comes down to an identity, actually, of your belief. And that is out picturing in the emotions that you're having in whatever circumstances. So if you want to be more available emotionally, you've got to go back to that core belief and deal with that.
We do everything to feel something. That's why movies are so popular.
That's why I like feeling.
That's why I feel. Like, think about it. Did you go to The Notebook? The movie, this is like a bad example. But like, did you go to The Notebook?
Good and bad.
Good and bad at the same time. And you cried your eyes out. And then,
but
why do we go to horror movies? I don't go to horror movies.
But don't you feel like once you do your awakening, once you do your healing work, that you can actually love the hard, the sadness?
Yeah.
Like I love feeling sad because I know it's just like an experience.
That's what I mean. Like go into the event. To me, it's an adventure.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just because like an actor has like a borderline sadistic side. If you're like, while you're crying, you're just like, oh, this is really good. I got to remember this for like.
but you couldn't get there like until you realize you created it.
Yes, exactly. And it's all an experience. Like you go to a movie to have that experience, and yet we shy away from that experience in our real life.
Why is that? That's weird. That's really weird. We're so weird as human beings. We're pretending that we're not pretending, that we're just acting. No, I'm not fucked up. No, sorry. We're not all fucked up. We pretend that we're all fucked up.
But she says some things sometimes
that are a little fucked up. Okay, some things I say are a little fucked up, but I'm not fucked up.
Oh my God.
I don't like scary or sad.
I know, but why?
Why not? Show fun. We need some more music and we need some card reading.
We do. Okay.
Because I like her woo-woo stuff. Let's read this woo-woo stuff.
You guys like the woo-woo stuff too. Get some hearts for cards. Okay. So
look at it's my number. What did I tell you? I told you. That's my number.
Say it again.
She feels, she knows. 22. That's my lucky number. That's my number. That's the like guiding light of like, I know I'm supposed to be where I am.
So yours is 22.
No, just saying.
He's a few years too late. Little did he know. But
yeah, I have a son that's older than 22. So no, that won't work out.
Okay. But I love that this is validating our whole conversation.
So
she feels, she knows. What's your interpretation of that based on our whole conversation that we've been talking about emotions and not like how to open those up? Like when you feel, when you feel, you're more in touch with your intuition, like the knowingness that we were talking about, self-trust, self-love, even you have to have self-love and self-trust at the same time.
I think there's a distinction though, right? So when we feel like we're actually in alignment with our truth versus when we feel we're reactive. So like when we're feeling reactive, it's actually telling me I need to do more work versus when I feel like I'm inspired. That's my feeling of knowing I'm on my truth. I'm in my right action.
Did you guys get that? That was a huge distinction. Yes. That was a huge distinction. Okay. Yes.
So when I feel like I'm reactive, then that means my emotions are teaching me that I need to do my healing work. When I feel inspired, then I know I'm living my truth. I'm in alignment with my groove, my jam, my girl. And it's like true.
Spirit flows through.
That's right. Master number.
I love it. Okay. And so then we have releasing allegiances. This one is actually the second time that I've gotten this today. But the reason why I like it is she's covered in bees. Bees are queen. Bees are like your sovereignty. Yes, your independent sovereignty. Talk about Independence Day, but also like your royal sovereignty. So getting back in touch with, it's saying releasing allegiances. To me, it's always like releasing those parts of you, like the the sculpture, releasing those parts of you that are keeping you from that highest level of your sovereignty, your true king or queen aspect, not egoically.
What is allegiance?
Allegiances?
Like it's like different groups of people? What is allegiance?
What does it mean for you?
I don't know what it means exactly.
We should Google it.
We don't know what the hell it means.
What does it mean for you guys? I always like asking, right? Because these are all like, I love how you said in the beginning too, everything is open to each independent person's interpretation. So I'm giving you one level of interpretation that's also usually flows really well with this whole conversation. But if there's something else that you guys are getting too, it's like, trust that that's correct for you, right? This is like a channel of one interpretation. So
hi, Erin.
Allegiances to me are like the like allegiances. Like,
oh, Emerald. Oh, hi, sweetie. How are you?
Oh, yeah.
We have Emerald. We have Erica. Jeanette, how are you? We're over on Serah Delane's also. She's got a lot more people on hers because she's
like alliances.
Like alliances. Okay.
2 years strong, Soul Circle. We love you. Yes, like alliances. So, but alliances is a relationship, yes, but if something, we have relationships we have relationships with everything, right? So it's whatever you're in relationship with that is keeping you from that highest version for you. That's my interpretation.
How we relate.
How we are relating.
Yes. Yes, I like that.
Yes.
Okay, good. I like that a lot. Letting go of what other people have said negatively and letting go to stand in your own truth. I like it. That's her interpretation.
I like it.
Interpretation.
Nice. The gray fortress. Yes.
Okay, we have one more.
Look at this goddess, beautiful mermaid-esque, beautiful swimmer. Okay, 34. In the world, not of the world. How do you interpret that?
That's truth, baby. That is your godliness. That is that is it. We are the creator of the universe. We are not the universe. This is just it's all moving energy. It can flow, it can change, it can do whatever. Yeah, I'm not in this world. I'm just playing in the playground now, this world. Pretty cool.
She's like, I'm just dancing.
Just having fun. It's just a big playground here now.
Exactly. So to me, that's remembering your feminine. Remembering that fluidity, right? Which is the highest divinity to me, right? Highest consciousness, although highest consciousness is sort of masculine and feminine combined, but like getting out of that rigid aspect and going back into the remembering, like leading from your feminine, leading not from your masculine, not from the mind side, right? Or to put a definition on it, right? Getting back to leading from your feminine, that fluidity that is self-trusting, certainty, I don't know, wake up in the morning and put on some cute floral booty shorts and like make pancakes in your underwear while you're dancing to some music. Like keep it, you know what I mean? Like keep the flow going.
That's funny, yeah. So in Science of Mind, which I'm the minister of, we basically state that God can never be the effect of the creation, right? So the part of us that creates is we can create all of it, but we can never actually be the effect of any of it. So for me, being in the world but not of the world means that we get to create whatever, but we don't have to. We have karmic ties of the experience of here, but the truth is that we're none of this stuff, and that we can never be the effect ever. We can never be in bonds within ourselves.
Never be within bonds.
We're never
like
bounded.
bondage.
Bondage within our own whatever we've created. There's always choice. There's always an innovation.
Okay, got it.
Always.
I'm like, we bond ourselves.
Yes.
So I think there can be bondage, but once we realize that we have choice, then we can step out of that.
We're not this body. We're
no,
not
that's true.
Stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty.
It's like having a car.
I'm pretty bonded.
And we got in the car, and we're driving down the street. And we forgot we can actually pull over the car, and we can actually get out, or we can get back in. We're not the car.
Right. Yes.
We're not this body.
Your spirit can leave.
Yes.
Your body would cease, but it's an option for you.
Just saying. We don't want you to do that right now. But we like options in LA.
We like options. We're women. We always like options. Hi, Lizzie, baby.
Yes.
My New Zealand clients, babe, who's been such a badass and slaying it, girl. I see you.
Apollo.
Yes, staying in flow. Awesome. Okay.
Coach Judy, how are you? We aren't the car. That's right. You are not the car. You got the car. You pulled up. You're like, I'll take that one right there. That's a hot little car. You get out whenever you're ready.
Okay, I want you to do one more. This is one that I haven't, you guys, I haven't brought this out. I found this in the back of my other stack of cards.
She's got
I have
cards
everywhere.
Everywhere. There's
everywhere.
like 10 things of cards around here. I'm not a cards person. I go straight down to universal law, science of mind, metaphysics, and universal law. But I like it's fun. But this is fun. It's creative. It's like
universal law speaks through this bitch.
You are your source. It's not like you're wrong, I'm right. Let's face the fact.
You know what? Okay? We should play that right wrong game and see how far we get. Nowhere. You know what? We're both right and we're both wrong.
So
I want you to pick one.
I like the first one. I like
you did like card. Okay.
She's
taking
like
one off the top.
Lady.
Okay. This is my goddess knowledge cards that I found. I bought these in Sedona a long time ago.
Tell her.
And then, okay, but share what the goddess card is first.
H.E.R, what's that? H.E.R, whose name literally means shine one, was a Celtic moon goddess, the second wife of H.E.R king, the underworld. H.E.R's first wife, Von Mach, I can't read any of these things, was jealous of H.E.R and turned her into a fly, falling into a glass of wine. H.E.R drowned. She was drunk, apparently. She was reborn and married H.E.R. I cannot pronounce his name.
We can skip over the word.
A fertility god. H.E.R challenged H.E.R to have a game of chess. The result was H.E.R must spend half of her year underground and half on Earth. H.E.R is especially a symbol of fertility. You take this. And the vitality of life. No. All growing things. The goddess familiar with both life and death. She teaches that wherever we are on Earth or in the depths of the underworld, we too can be shining. This is your card. It's fertility.
She's trying to pawn fertility off on me. Do you not have a date later? I'm just saying.
No, I don't.
I'm just saying. But fertility does not necessarily. It could be birthing. What do you say? Birthing purpose.
I am very fertile.
Birthing.
Very fertile.
It could be.
Just so you know, I am very
creativity.
Fertile.
Women have one of our whole purposes is to create, right? We own the sort of creator energy.
It's complicated.
I think. I think she's going to be birthing something.
That is what this card is saying. Is it's definitely complicated. Dating and relationships and fertility is complicated.
I see how you see the model of your world right now.
And my perception.
I think she's going to be birthing something. Not a child. Just saying.
I'm birthing a drunken fly. Going to.
No, that was her story. She turned into a fly.
Okay. You read it.
She teaches a goddess familiar with both life and death. She teaches that wherever you are on Earth or in the depths of the underworld, you can too be shining. So you shine wherever you are.
Whether you're drunk or not, you can shine.
Okay, this is what I got. And this is for all of you guys as well. So maybe there's some ladies on here that are like, I need some fertility. Okay. Oh my gosh, we're gonna. Okay. So Isis and Osiris. Okay. In ancient Egypt, there's my girls. I was more like Ma'at, I feel like, in Egypt. Okay. The balance, the scales, the heart, and the feather. Anyways, okay, so in ancient Egypt, Isis was among the oldest of the goddesses, the mother and the giver of life. A moon goddess, hey, new moon. She gives birth to the sun. This is more fertility over here. Creates and sustains all life and is the savior of all people. The teacher of agriculture. I have a purple thumb. That's not happening. This might be for somebody else who has a green thumb. I love the cards. This is not just for us. This is for everybody.
Okay. It's about you guys.
Okay, so teacher of agriculture. She is also the goddess of medicine and wisdom. So if this is resonating for you, this is resonating a little bit for me, but not agriculture. So Osiris and her brother and her husband, let's see. Oh, when Osiris was murdered. Yeah. Let's skip over that.
These cards suck, by the way.
Unable to locate each. Okay, we're going to skip over that.
Next cards. Let's pull some other cards. There's 5 other boxes over there.
Morbid. Do you want the goddess
yes,
guidance?
These are terrible. What are these?
Isis is the universal goddess representing total femininity. What were the other cards
These
talking
are knowledge
about?
cards.
Feminine.
Apparently, you need a PhD to understand them.
She can overcome death itself, yet she is not above grief. One of her tears wept when Osiris was dying caused the Nile River to flood.
Julianne, she says these cards are different than the ones usually. That's right. We don't like
They
these
are.
cards. These cards, I don't know. These cards are going away right now.
You're like, I'm over. Do you want to throw them up now?
We need some other ones.
Do you want to throw them up?
Okay, fine. We're done. Okay. What are we doing now? What cards are we going to do?
We love you guys. we have 5 more minutes.
What
They're
does it
laughing
mean
at us.
when we're nostalgic from time in the past that we wouldn't want to go back to or create? What does it mean? It means you have the power of mind. You can go back
What do you
and
mean?
be nostalgic about anything you want.
That's not necessarily a bad thing. Yes, we love your hearts.
Leslie Serah. I don't know how to pronounce that. What?
None of them. Okay. Let's see. Do we have any other questions here before the end of the Soul Circle evening?
It was fun.
Thank you for divine wisdom. You guys are amazing. We love you.
I bet you guys would have a
Great wine night.
You know, we don't really drink.
We
Have
don't.
we ever had a drink together?
No. We've had coffee.
Maybe tonight is the night. I'm just kidding. We really haven't.
I'm detoxing right now. I'm not really drinking.
We literally get
No.
tea when we're together.
We
or
do.
coffee.
Or coffee.
We
Right
eat
now
a
I'm
lot.
drinking fake coffee.
We eat a lot and we are on our laptops a lot, but
Mhm.
we've never had a drink together.
We pretty much are naturally high all the
We
time.
are.
We
Very
hang
true.
out in the sun.
We do.
Yeah, no, we don't really drink.
We're just high on life.
We don't smoke
We only do
pot.
acid. Just kidding. We don't do acid. Just joking. We don't do any drugs.
Way to drop that on them. Could you imagine? No.
Will sleeping help me with my anxiety? Okay, so a couple things with that. Serah, number one, anxiety. There's a few things going on. One is that you're living in the future of not of it's basically the consideration that your future will not like be what you want it to be. So coming back into the present moment through mindfulness. Secondly, anxiety comes from trauma. Again, go figure. So you got to do your trauma work. And
every problem comes from trauma.
Problem's trauma.
If you have a problem, there's trauma.
Another thing is there's a reason why Jewish people eat kosher, and it's because animals, when they're killed, if they are freaked out or in a lot of pain, all of their adrenaline will go through their system. And if your body is sensitive, you will begin to have anxiety from the meat that you eat. So you need to be very careful of what you're putting into your body around that. So I would say those 3 things are the primary thing: to not go into the future of projecting of what will not happen in the future. So you become mindful and come present. Second is doing your trauma work to release all that energetic stuff going on with charge. And number 3 is making sure of your environment, which includes the meat and things that you're putting in your body.
That's nice. I like that. I have a little bit different interpretation of what anxiety is. So yes, it is all of those things. I totally agree with that, with the meat as well. And what you're processing, right? Subconsciously, mentally, all of the above. I look at it as like this rope that is between you, your future version of yourself, this badass babe that you're becoming, and the version of you that you are now that is in resistance to becoming that. And so the anxiety is like this tightrope that you're pulling and creating resistance, and that sort of tightness is the sort of internal version of anxiety, right? Or the metaphorical version of what you're feeling inside as anxiety. You could check, yes, a couple physical things, right? Like maybe you're low in zinc, right? So go to a nutritionist, check all the physical things, but then also check into, okay, what am I either wanting to step into that I am creating resistance to, or whatever. Exactly. Oh my God, we're counting down.
Yeah, we have
so
to
I hope that
down.
Was helpful.
This is hilarious. So on Instagram right now, it says we have 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining for the hour. And if not, then you can't download. It won't let you download. Yeah.
Which is why we're
Right.
going to say we love you.
We love you.
And this is Dr.
This is
Erin.
Dr. Erin right here.
Please follow her and Soulciety.
Yes.
You can find all of her handles there. And
Good
she's got
Morning
Good Morning
La La
La La Land
Follow
every morning.
Serah Delane, Conscious Lifestylist, badass, amazing girlfriend of mine.
And you'll see us on stories by the pool and hanging out and all that fun
4th of
stuff.
July.
4th
Going
of
a little
July.
crazy. Lots of cocktails and acid for sure. Just kidding.
You know, keep it real.
Okay.
We love you guys. Mwah. Thank
Love
you,
you so much.
YouTube, for joining on. See you guys next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye, babes.
Oh my God, you're going to download the show? You download a whole hour?